Namaste. I'm Kathleen, and this is the third session of energy work, energy medicine. Welcome. And I wanted to bring a little visual aid to our work today because we're going to do a full chakra clearing of the full chakra system, at least that with what's in the body. We're going to work on that today. And I'm really excited to teach that to you because the chakra system is something that I really, I'm fascinated by, and I've learned so much in the last 20 years or so about the involvement and relationship of the chakras to the developmental stages of the human being. So what's really cool is if you know developmental psychology, even just the basics of the different stages from birth through toddler, through school age and adolescence, they mirror the chakra system in terms of the energy that field holds. So let me give you a brief example, and then we'll jump into a clearing, okay? So the chakra system there are 7 energy centers within the body, okay? I mostly focus on the lower 4 because that's where most of the blocks occur in the development of the human, okay? So the first chakra, the root chakra, is related to the first 6 months of life. So when we are first born, we develop an attachment to our mothers or not, based on sort of the well-being of the mother and the situation in her environment, her mental state, the experience of being ready for the baby and welcoming the child. So much of that gets built into the root chakra right from the start that gives that baby in that nervous system of that child a sense of feeling safe and welcome and supported and secure. The mother literally is the grounding for the baby. She is the baby's sense of gravity, which is safety and connection. So if mom is grounded, if mom is well fed and sleeping okay and has a good partner and family support, most of the time you get a healthy attachment. The baby feels safe. There's a routine is established. There's comfort in the home. There's a sense of safety. Now, many of us can say that we know our mothers weren't in that state of mind when we were born. Sometimes we were a surprise. Sometimes there were stressful things going on in the family beyond the new baby, right? So that can lead to imbalances in the root chakra. So the good news is that we can change it. We can create a happy childhood within ourselves through the process of energy work. This is why I love it so much. I studied psychology. I have a year of master's clinical training, and then I fell in love with the body and the chakra system. So I have a mixture of both energy psychology and body work to really get at these issues and be able to touch people and work on the meridian system to get imbalances out and rebalanced, okay? So that's just kind of a quick overview of the root chakra. The second chakra, which is the belly button, is related to identity in that year of the toddlerhood when you start to say no and you start to differentiate from mom and I like this and I don't like that and I want to put everything in my mouth and I want to try everything. And it's all about exploring, right? That's what develops our creativity and our sense of safety in the world. Now, if we have a mom who is stressed out and fearful, many of us did, then it's all about, don't touch that, no, oh, watch out. She smothers us and keeps us too close to home, in a sense, and gives us the message that the world isn't safe. So again, here's an opportunity for a clearing, a rebalancing, a way to have a happy childhood. My dog wants to have a happy childhood all of a sudden too. So the second chakra is all about rebalancing that sense of self and identity. So the opposite of that would be if you had parents that were too permissive and you got into trouble as a 2-year-old, you hurt yourself, or you felt neglected, or you felt like you could do whatever you wanted and there wasn't any structure, that doesn't make a child feel safe either. So again, we're looking at the balancing act, right? Of not too much, not too little, but making the space safe for a baby or a 2-year-old, and then letting them explore and giving them lots of room to put stuff in their mouth that's safe and to be busy. I used to work in a Montessori school, preschool, and those children, it was work for them, what they were doing with their little hands and learning how to do fine motor skills and pouring things into things and putting blocks, and it was work. They were busy, and then they were exhausted and hungry. So those are really important masteries for those first 2 chakras, feeling safe and feeling validated as an individual to differentiate from mom. So if mom is secure, she's going to make the room safe, or the house or the playroom, and you get to explore and you develop. As that goes along, when you get to school, the school-age child is in the 3rd chakra. So we're talking about building into power. So if this is security and this is identity, this is power. So as you can see, these chakras build on each other. So if you're feeling safe and secure and wanted and welcomed, you naturally want to explore, excuse me, the world. You're like, yes, I'm welcome here, so now what, you know? And then you get to school and you go, wow, here's what. You get to explore reading and writing and art and athletics and numbers and whatever turns you on. So you begin to just develop a level of mastery and power at the 3rd chakra level. Now these are all best case scenarios, right? If we didn't get anything met, these needs completely met at these different stages, then guess what? We've got stuff to work on. Most of us do. Okay, we're going to just focus on the heart chakra, and then we'll get into the clearing, because I know this is a lot of talk. But basically, the 4th chakra is about early adolescence, right? Remember your first love, 5th, 6th grade, 10, 11, 12, 13. I guess they start earlier now. But the bottom line is we are seeing that the developmental stage of early adolescence, 11 to say 14, 15, begins to open the heart chakra. We have our first love. We start to develop our sexuality, our connection, a sense of purpose in the world too, and a sense of abstract thinking that goes along with being an adolescent. Suddenly things are complex as opposed to just, you know, going to school and keeping it simple and getting home and having a snack. Suddenly you're questioning things, and there's this whole sort of building into the upper chakras, which is about communication, power, assertion, creativity, relating to the 2nd chakra and that developmental, healthy development of an identity. And the 3rd eye is about being able to be discerning and spiritually wise, and of course connected. So in the crown, so those upper chakras are really dependent on these lower chakras being nice and clean and pure and relating to each other. Now, most of us don't have that experience, so this is why energy medicine even exists, because we have to literally go back and repattern them, because a lot of the time we didn't get those needs met at those stages. So I'm not going to go into the whole energy psychology in this session. We don't have time for that. But I am going to teach you a basic energy chakra clearing tool, technique, that can address some of these issues, kind of layer by layer. The chakra system is very much like a computer. Each of these centers is very much like a little hard drive that remembers things that we may not. So it's like a way to access the data files. There's different ways of doing that to get into behind the firewall and be able to explore the hidden repressed memories, the unmet needs, the things you may not have remembered in childhood that still impact how you relate to people, or how secure you feel, or empowered, or in ability to be intimate and loving. All of those things are stored in the chakra system, but we may not be aware. So when I work on someone, we do some regression, we may do some breathing, we may do some energy muscle testing to kind of get a feel for what's going on in that system that we may not remember, but that we want to really get to and clear. So for our purposes today, we're going to do a very simple, this is called a biofield chakra clearing technique. And what it is working with the chakra system and using your hand. So we're going to do a left to right spiral. So if I'm mirroring this my client, we're going to rotate from the left to the right, like you're just sweeping the energy to the right, and you're going to spiral out off of the body, okay? And it actually is very, it doesn't, can't feel it on a poster here, but in your body you can actually feel the energy shifting because you're actually influencing with intention. We're going to get back to that. The intention of clearing is very, very powerful when it comes to energy medicine. Intention and connection and protection, what we talked about in that first session. So I'm going to instruct you through each chakra, and we're going to go into potential imbalances so that there's some universal things that can kind of go awry in each chakra. For example, the survival fear can end up in the root chakra if you didn't have a good secure beginning. Insecurity can show up, or fear of rejection can show up in the second chakra. Power over or not owning your power can happen in the third chakra if these other stages weren't met, okay? So some of these are just universal things that we all are working on. Fear of being hurt or rejected can also be in the heart, or old rejections and hurts can still be in the heart. So we're going to kind of go through it in a systematic way, but in a meditative state, because when we do it in a quiet meditative state, the neurological system is more, the repatterning is able to be laid down as we clear, and as your mind is quiet, there's a way that the neurological system actually takes it in a different way and really receives a sustainable message that it can be different. So it's not just a magic trick, it's not just wooby wooby, I'm moving my hands around. We're actually dropping into a theta state that is going to encourage a release of old trauma or old habits and patterns, and then we'll work with a repatterning at the end, okay? All right, see if we can do this in a time frame. I normally teach this in a 5-hour workshop, so we're gonna see how quickly we can get through this, and then we'll go from there. So come into a comfortable seated position as we have in the other 2 sessions. And I'm going to ring the bell, and remember that the things that we worked on in the last 2 sessions, the fundamentals of an energy session, are the protection, intention, setting the intention first, the connection and protection. So we're going to go through that quickly, and then we'll go into a quick grounding exercise that we learned in the second session together, and then we'll go into the clearing. So remember, left to right. So you're going to spiral out this way and just pull the energy out of each chakra. So you're going to hold your hand in front of each of these centers, just like maybe an inch off the body, and then wind it out of into what we call the neutral zone, outside of the auric field, okay? When energy is moved out with intention, it just becomes neutralized. It's not gonna hurt anybody once it's out in beyond your field, okay? So take a minute or two just to think about your intention, and maybe even what might have come up in the last yoga session for you. If there was a new awareness, something that you might want to work on that is maybe even a little deeper. Maybe a fear arose, or a limitation in some way, or a new insight into, oh, that's why I'm not being as productive as I could. I'm a little bit afraid of being productive or different than my family if I take that path or whatever. Notice what's in your field, and then set an intention. And of course, bring your crystal to your work. We're gonna set the intention and then lay the crystal down, because we're gonna need our the right hand to do the clearing. But put the intention in the crystal for just a minute. And breathe. Notice if your heart opens with that, if it really is a yes when you set that intention. And then bring up that circular breath, up the back, down the front of the body. Nice and relaxed. Let the tension go. I just put a lot of information out into the airwaves for you. Let it all go. It'll absorb or it won't. The basic understanding of the chakra system is that it's where memories are stored and where they're cleared. So set an intention to clear something today. Nothing big or traumatic, maybe just you had a difficult interaction at the grocery store, something simple. This is to learn the tool. And once you've got your intention, set your crystal gently aside, and it'll hold that frequency for you. It'll hold that energy, because that's what crystals do. It is like a tuning fork, and it'll keep resonating with that intention until you ask it to do something else. And then come to that beautiful opening of the crown chakra, flowering at the top of your head. Feel the energy coming down your body. Open into curiosity and trust if you can. Just curious even if you can't. Stay into curiosity. Feel the energy coming through your body once you step into an open crown. Maybe there's a little curiosity and even some excitement about what we're about to do, because this is fun, this is exciting. It's an empowering way to do psychology that's different than sitting and talking about our problems. This is more empowering. This is more activated, self-directed. So feel whatever you feel. Notice what you notice. And then bring up that beautiful egg of light, that orb of light around your body, about an arm's length on either side, front and back, side to side, and fill it with golden light. And from here we ask our guides and guardians from the 5th, 6th, 7th dimension and above to guide and nurture our process, to witness and to hold us in this healing space. And you can imagine that golden energy swirling around you, holding you in kind of an etheric hug around you one way and then the other, sort of like a gyroscope. You're in the middle and this energy field is just swirling around you, protecting you, guiding you, not letting you get into any difficulty as you do this energy work. You're totally held and protected. And then drop in your consciousness all the way through your body into your root chakra. Feel those sits bones and the tailbone on the floor, and drop in a cord from your root chakra into the earth, into the soul star in the earth, right about 8 inches beneath you, right into the earth, the grid, the beautiful grid of the earth. And loop it up back into the root chakra and back down. And as you do that looping, you can breathe the energy up into the 2nd chakra this time and down. So up into the belly and then back down into the earth star. And then breathe another earth energy cord up into your 3rd chakra, affirming your power, and then drop that down. And lastly, bring an energy thread from that earth star beneath your feet into your heart, and affirm your love and your connection to Mother Earth. And recognize in this moment, in that experience of the grounded love of Mother Earth, that this is really our home, coming home to the groundedness, and to knowing that we are part of this incredible matrix of life, Gaia, the whole crystalline grid of the earth. This is who we are. We're a part of the matrix, and that matrix is woven in love. So even with all of these tools and with all of this, visualization, what we're really getting back to is balance and love. And let the Mother remind you in your heart what that feels like. Let your heart reverberate. This is called a heart bowl. It's made in Bhutan by monks in Bhutan, and it's resonant with the heart chakra. Let that love permeate your heart just for a little bit. Breathing that thread from the Mother into your heart, knowing that you are so deeply, deeply loved, so cherished as a part of the Divine Mother's web of life, one of her divine children, cherished and purposeful and wanted and empowered. So notice we're beginning to program those chakras with those positive energies already, okay? So now we're going to do a clearing. So come to bring your hand right in front of your pubic area, the pubic bone and the sits bones, and begin a spiraling energy about this far away from the body, just an inch or so off the body, and begin a spiraling left to right, okay, up and over. So energy moves from left to right. We receive from the left side and it goes out the right. So if you have any question about whether you're doing it right, just notice, is it leaving out the right? Then you got it right. And if you don't, it's okay. As long as it's moving, the energy will shift, don't worry. But ideally, it's left to right. It's a counterclockwise. So you're gonna move the energy and then spiral it off the body. Now, notice if it correlates with any of your intentions. If there's something with the intention you had earlier that you put in your crystal, just see if there's something that you might want to remove from the root chakra that isn't in alignment with your intention. So if there's some survival fear or some rigidity, sometimes rigidity is in the root chakra, or sometimes lack of organization, the other extreme of structure, right? Either we don't have enough structure or we have too much. But bring that out and just let it float off into the neutral zone beyond your body. Good. So then let's move up to the second chakra. And we're going to, again, left to right, and move it off the body. And this chakra holds identity, remember? So there could be some insecurity in here. There could be relative to your intention. There could be some resistance to a project or something that is not in resonance, or some relationship issue. The second chakra has a lot of, is complex. It relates to our relationship to ourselves, our identity. It also relates to our relationship to others. So notice if you're working on an intention to have more harmony in your relationship, then clear disharmony. Just clear it out. There may be, oftentimes there's a lot of energy cords between people in the second chakra because there's This is where we start to, this is the sexual chakra, so we're sharing energy. But it's also a place where, we're testing the waters. Do you love me? Do I love you? Are we giving and receiving in harmony and balance? These are the areas, are we safe and are we in harmony? Those are the two chakras that are kind of in play, which is why I work with them so much. So if that's in alignment with your intention, clear any disharmony. So reminder again, root chakra is clearing any fear, survival fear, rigidity, and second chakra is clearing any insecurity, any sense of I'm not enough, or any kind of rejection issues. Anything that holds you back from being authentic, clear it out, okay? Next, we're going to move up to the third chakra. And this one my teacher used to say, this is the bugaboo chakra. She's who uses that word anymore, but that's what she used to say. That's the bugaboo chakra, because this is where we get attached to power struggles. I'm right, you're wrong, I want this my way. You see it a lot with siblings, even little ones. You have a school-age child and a toddler. Guess what happens? Whew, yeah. So many of you have kids, so you know what those struggles are like, especially when the 2-year-old is learning to explore, and so you want to have a safe environment for the 2-year-old, and the school-age child dumps her books and her lunchbox and everything in the space where the 2-year-old is, and then suddenly there's this conflict because it's not safe to explore anymore, and this one, the school-age child is saying, but that's mine, and she took it, and she's not respecting my stuff, and so there's that developmental clash, right? So we can get into that even in ourselves. So let go of any power struggle if that's part of your intention today. Let go of being right. Remember, spiraling left to right, out of the body. Let go of being, attached to an outcome. That can end up in the third chakra. Let's give an example of when the third chakra is too weak. It can be way open and you just give away your power. You go, oh, okay. You let everybody make decisions for you. You don't have a sense of will. So the will is in the third chakra. You want to have a sense of will. It's okay, as we're in this human form, to have an ego that gets us to where we need to go if it's in harmony and if it's in balance and if it's in alignment with the higher chakras. Of course it's okay to have a will. How else are we going to create anything? Otherwise we're just going to sit in a cave somewhere. I guess we would be creating something if we were doing that. But we're more productive if we have a will. But let go of any kind of sense of fear of your own power and spiral that out. Okay? Just like that. It feels good. Maybe 3, 4, 5 passes. Pull it out with that intention. You may feel like you're a little bit lighter. You may feel, a little more movement, a little more space. And the lower chakras are dense. They're much denser than the upper ones. Then let's come up to the heart chakra and let's do one. We will kind of fast forward through the upper ones because I want to end on time. But the heart chakra is a place where we clear pain and hurt and rejection and grief. The heart holds a lot. It gives a lot. And it also is the place that we take stuff in there on an emotional level. So fortunately, as we talked about earlier, there are meridians that run out the hand that help to clear the heart. So if we're working with that energy, left or right hand, either one will help with the heart clearing. But for this purpose, this exercise, do your spiral. So you clear sadness, if that's part of your intention today. Clear a grief or a loss, if you're dealing with something that you've lost. And it may not obviously get all of it, but it's going to clear a layer or two and it's going to feel lighter. And then you'll notice that there's more energy running between these now. There's more vitality. There's a stronger sense of identity. There's a sense of empowerment, and there's a sense of I can bring more love into my life. As I let go of a grief or a sadness or a rejection, I can bring more light and love in. Okay? So this can be brought along in the other chakras as well. We will say quickly clearing the throat with the color of that sapphire blue, which is so yummy. It's one of my favorite colors. And again, spiraling left to right, clearing any, oh, I wish I didn't say that, oops, mistakes end up in the throat. Just clear it. A lot of the time, women especially, we don't speak our truth, or we blow up and say stuff we don't want to say, right? Clear it. And then we end up feeling ashamed, and then there's all this stuff that gets caught in the throat that leads to health issues, thyroid, general immunity stuff gets caught in the throat. So let go of the guilt, let go of the lack of expression. If there's something there that needs to be expressed, let it go. This is a great way to express something that you really can't express directly to somebody. Maybe there's some anger in there. You could do it this way. Spiral it out. So we'll do a quick third eye. So that this clears confusion. Third eye can get foggy. Bring purple to that center of your forehead and move it left to right. The third eye, sometimes we close our third eye when we don't want to see the truth. If something is really hard to look at, we'll shut down. We'll shut it down with confusion and overthinking and worry, when what we really need to do is just get quiet and get honest. And that's what the third eye does. It opens up it's the discernment. It's the wisdom when we have to make a tough decision. Boy, you want your third eye engaged. I teach a whole 5-hour workshop just on this. So spin that out. And lastly, we'll do the crown, which is a little different. So the crown, of course, is that white to lavender, beautiful energy, and it spirals front to back, okay? So it's similar direction, you're going to the left, but it's flat on the top of the head. It's the only chakra that's more like this because it opens flat out like that, up to the heavens. So bringing any doubt out, clear, any worry, judgment. I'll close the crown. Judgment kind of is when there's, there's other things involved. Sometimes it's a power thing. Sometimes, it's complicated. Sometimes you get two chakras going. Still closes the crown. So what we want to do is stay open to curiosity. What's the lesson here? Even if I don't like what's happening out there, or I don't like what I've created, because it's pretty much everything we've done is our creation. So how do I stay curious? What's the lesson? What do I need to learn here? That'll keep the energy open. Even if you're resisting it, stay curious, and that'll keep the flow going, okay? So speaking of flow, let's just end with a beautiful visualization of that golden light running right through you. And we'll bring trust and clarity and truth and love, empowerment, self-love, and safety. Those are all the replacement patterns that can go right into those chakras with that golden light. I'll say it one last time. Trust, clarity, truth, love, empowerment, self-love, and safety. Namaste.